Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Brewed in Monmouth, the real estate tea with Kate, and as always,
I'm Doreen. Thank you for tuning in.
so we have a really exciting episode today. Danielle Sherrill from New Mom School is going to be coming in and talking about her new business in Shrewsbury.
It's an amazing concept. They did not have this about when I was raising my girls, and it's a wonderful way to help new moms.
I helped her find the space, so I
did
know
you?
a little bit about it, but I really want her to elaborate. Basically, it's for, I think, babies up to like a couple days old, and just teaching techniques to fight colic and all other sorts of things. But it's definitely a cultural shift because back in the day, it was like grandma helped with all of this stuff.
Right, but you know what? Listen, my three girls live all out of state. They don't have babies yet. Well, they're not even married yet. But, my mother literally lived down the block from me, and she probably stopped by the house every day, without me even asking her rather. I think it probably is a cultural or generational shift because of people living so far away from each other today.
Yeah.
I can go out and help her a little bit, but I can't, be there every day on the phone and all that other stuff. But I guess people, new moms do need the support. And if she's able to do that, that's fantastic.
Oh, it's great. My third son, the wild one, he didn't sleep for like the first year of his life. He had colic. They couldn't figure it out. So I would have thrown a lot of money at this problem. so, so without further ado, we can introduce Danielle Sherrill. Hi, Danielle. Thank you so much for coming. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So New Mom School opens in Shrewsbury in May, right?
So we have our grand opening May 3rd, and then classes are starting May 6th.
Oh, it's so exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah.
This did not exist when I was a new mom. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what you offer.
Yeah, so New Mom School is postnatal classes for new moms. It's different than your typical Mommy and Me program in that the classes are all organized by the baby's birth date. The classes focus more on the moms, and we bring in experts to talk about different topics so moms have access to these experts on a weekly basis.
What kind of experts?
So the classes are, the series are 8 weeks long, and each class is 90 minutes. They meet once per week. So of the 8 weeks, about 4 or 5 of those weeks, an expert comes in to talk about a specific topic. So we have a pediatric physical therapist come to talk about tummy time and developmental ways to play with your baby, a maternal health expert to talk about postpartum worry and anxiety, a sleep expert to talk about how to handle getting your baby to bed.
These were all chapters when I was growing up in the what to expect when you're expecting, or what to expect when you have a 1-year-old or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was chapter by chapter that you read probably while you were nursing your child.
But you're
something.
isolated there too, so this is community.
So isolated.
Yeah. So
this sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a great way for moms to meet other moms. So
and realize they're not in it alone.
Exactly. So with like the classes organized by birth dates, moms will be in class with other moms with babies within usually 4 to 6 weeks of each other. So all the moms are going through the same thing. So it's a great way for moms to meet other moms that are going through the same exact stage, and also to learn about the baby and themselves.
Wow. And the mom is going through the same stages with her body, healing from birth and whatnot, as the other ones in the class with her too.
Exactly. So of the 8 weeks, about half of them are more focused on the mom. So we have a pelvic floor therapist come in to talk about pelvic floor. And like I said, that
wasn't even a term back in the day.
Right? Yeah. So
I can't get on a trampoline still.
And then like another topic is returning to work. So, the topics are not only just about baby, it's about mom too.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really great.
That is fantastic. Yeah. How did you come up with this?
So I'll back up. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I started being interested in owning my own business. I'm a CPA. I've worked in accounting, operations, deal desk. So I've kind of worked on like a bunch of different facets of business. And I started getting interested in like the franchising space. So I read books on franchising, started listening to a franchise podcast. And I listened to this one podcast called, it's The Wolf of Franchises, and he covers everything about the franchise world. And he had the founder of New Mom School on the podcast. And I heard it and I was like, felt like this is what I was looking for.
Wow.
I had looked into a couple other franchises like pretty seriously, and they didn't like feel right or didn't work out for one reason or another. And then when I heard about New Mom School, it just was the perfect fit. I have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and when I learned about the program, I knew it was something that I would have gone to if it was offered when I had my kids. So I heard about it, reached out to the founder, flew out to California where it started. I sat in on a class, and the program is amazing. It's incredible. It's hard to describe, but it is like truly like a magical program. I think just all the moms being in this safe space with other moms going through the same journey. It's truly
Relatable.
really where like the magic happens. And I sat in that class and I'm like, I knew that this was it and that this area needed a program like this.
How big are classes? How big are the classes?
We cap them at 14 moms,
Okay.
so it's relatively small and it keeps it intimate.
Yeah, and you run, it's by birth date, so it's 0 to 3 months.
So we have 4 different offerings. So the newborn class is for babies 0 to 3 months, and that program or that series typically starts when the baby is between 3 and 6 weeks old. And then we have the infant class, which is for babies 3 to 6 months old. Rising toddler, which is 6 to 12 months old. And that one is, at that point, babies are on the move. So that one is much more play-based. And then we have second time mom, which is the newborn class for moms with other children. And those topics not only talk about the newborn, but they talk about the toddler sleep and the toddler's transition into having a sibling.
Pure rage.
Yeah.
Rocking my world.
Exactly. Yeah. So that the second time mom is like the newborn class, but then kind of touches on.
Do you bring your other children to that too, or just the
It's
baby?
only for the baby.
Okay.
I think with for the second time mom, I've talked to other people who have taken that class, and they said it really is a special time to kind of have that one-on-one time with your newborn, because you don't really get as much with the second or third or fourth child.
Right. No, it's the most special time.
Yeah.
It really is. It goes
And
so
it could be
fast,
so disruptive.
too.
I know. And the weight of that warm body just laying on you.
Oh, it's the best.
Nothing more beautiful,
Yeah.
right? But then if you have a 2-year-old screaming they want to finger paint or whatever it might be, it's hard to enjoy that moment.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think like the program too is meant to just help moms enjoy motherhood. I think just at least like from my experience, when you have your first baby or second baby, you're kind of like isolated on your own. Like when I moved here, my family isn't around. It's not like I had friends here or anything. So, I had this baby at home and I was just by myself. And then you're on Instagram getting all of these unsolicited advice from
People
these
that you
other
don't even know
accounts.
what their background is, right?
Exactly. So this is kind of meant to cut down on all that noise, get you out of the house, and also meet other moms.
Wow.
I bet you're going to get
That's
people who hang
fantastic.
out for a long time after just meeting
not
in this
gonna wanna
class.
leave.
Yeah. So what really was amazing when I went out to California, I sat in on a second time mom class, and there were 14 moms in the class, and about 10 of the 14 moms had taken the newborn class with their firstborn. And I mean, when they were talking about the class, they were like, this changed my life. It changed motherhood. And then they were saying that they still hang out with all the moms that were in their newborn class, and they have one birthday party every year for all the babies in the class.
Oh, how fun. But
So
that has to be amazing because they become your support group,
Yeah.
right? So you're
Exactly.
bonded by,
Mhm.
I don't want to call it the trauma of having a child, but by this overwhelming experience. You're learning together, you're supporting each other. They'll be friends forever.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah, we
That's
really
great.
encourage the moms to get like a group chat going and then like meet for
Continue
coffee
on.
or go for a walk or, meet up when they're not in class.
Wow.
And you're advertising everywhere.
Yes, I am. I think everyone has probably been bombarded by new mom school ads. So we're kind of like all over Instagram. I have an ad going on C Streak right now. And yeah, I'm just trying
That's
to
good placement.
Yeah.
just trying to get the word out. It's interesting because there's I think right now a little over 30 locations across the United States in the works. I'm the first location in New Jersey. And the locations closer to like California, they already have that brand awareness. So like when someone in California sees a new mom school opening up near them, they're like, oh, new mom school, like this is amazing. I have this program like right near me. In New Jersey, people don't know what it is. So I'm kind of starting from scratch out here to build that brand awareness and try to educate people on the program and try to make people understand like how amazing it is. So
Word of mouth will grow really, really fast.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping. I think the program really is amazing. I went out to instructor training like 2 weeks ago. And just like going through like the curriculum and reading through everything that we touch on. I wish this existed when I had my kids. So I know when moms come to the class, they're going to love it and tell their friends and hopefully word of mouth. And
I remember even just sitting at like the pediatrician's office with other moms with like, kids pretty much same age or whatever. You just kind of make like little idle chit chat. They'll be talking about you there. They'll be talking, wherever they go, because I'm sure it's going to be life-changing for them. It's such an amazing opportunity. So we're so happy for you.
You don't have to start at birth, do you? Like, could you?
That was, when do you start? Like, when do you reach out?
Yeah. So in an ideal world, so we have pre-registration. So ideally when moms are pregnant, they pre-register for the program and they put in the baby's due date. And then about like 2 weeks before the due date, we'll reach out and see how it's going. Like, have you had the baby? Do you think you'll be around like the due date? And then based on that, we'll place them in a class. And that way it allows moms to have babies as close together as possible. So, if you're pregnant with your first, or a second, you would pre-register, but you could absolutely start in the infant class or the rising toddler class. You don't need to go
just because you're just starting here. Yeah.
So you might have people that are coming. Could you imagine if you wind up being like, the New York City private schools where the minute you get married, you're like,
exactly.
Eventually we'll have a kid. We need to be in this school. That would be great.
Yeah. It's been like really interesting to see. So I definitely have a lot of moms that have pre-registered that are due in July, August, September. But to start, we are offering all 4 classes. So we do have moms coming in right from the bat in the infant class or the rising toddler class.
Right. And then once they get out and they start going to the beach or whatever it is, they'll be mentioning it to other people. It's word of mouth. You're going to grow so fast.
Hope so.
That's so exciting.
What is your biggest surprise as a new business owner, like just starting it up?
I think just like the time. This is really I wouldn't even call it like a full-time. It was more than a full-time job. And I think just the education of trying to get people to like understand the program, and like I know it's amazing. It's just trying to like get that across. I would say like that's been like the biggest challenge.
Once you get a few testimonials, though, that will stop.
Yeah. So I think like once we start classes and people start getting like the word of mouth out and are talking more about the class, that should help.
It's really the isolation of motherhood. Like it can be very lonely. I remember I actually loved being home with my first when I was on maternity leave, but I want to talk to an adult, and like you couldn't. And I lived in that house in Homedale you sold me.
Yeah. You're kind of like
a little isolated on your 2 acres there.
Yeah. And even if your friends have babies within 6 months of you, you're still going a 1 week old compared to a 6 or 7 month old. There's a huge difference. So being put into a class with moms with the babies the same age as yours is really helpful. And yeah, I remember being on maternity leave and kind of just like going for walks and like hoping to run into another mom to talk to.
Yeah.
But yeah, this kind of just forces these moms like together that have babies the same age and are going through the same thing.
It just makes it so much more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
Uh-oh, faux pas. And then what is like are you getting like objections to it or anything? Like,
not really.
Yeah, it's a great
I think,
idea.
like, for the most part, people are kind of like, you know, I'm doing like a lot of like outreach, like, hey, like people that have like either signed up through our website or following me on Instagram. Like, I'll reach out, like, hey, I'm the owner of New Mom School. Like, let me know if you have any questions. And they're just kind of like, what is it? Like,
Oh, 'cause
how
that's
many
where the work
weeks
is
it
gonna be,
How
yeah.
many weeks is it? How often do classes meet? And like, we do have like all that information like on the website, but it's just like trying to get, you know,
Yeah.
people
I'm
to
sure you
understand.
sat with so many OBGYNs in the area too, right?
Yes,
And
so that is like another strategy to get the word out is educating the
even just like
OBGYNs.
pamphlets in the waiting room.
Yes, and OBGYNs and pediatricians on the program. Like I spoke with one pediatrician and she was so excited about the program because she said she would have moms come in with their 2 or 3 week old and the baby's the pediatrician's patient, right? So she's helping the baby, then the mom's over here crying about, you know, how hard motherhood is. And like she doesn't really have the time to offer help to the mom. So she's like, this is just like a great thing to suggest to moms. Like, here's New Mom School. You know, this can provide this extra support
yeah.
that you need.
Wow.
And are you gonna have like 1 week olds in there?
We typically it starts when the babies are 3 to 6 weeks old.
3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Old. Well, I'd go in there and hold them. I love babies that age.
yeah. My youngest sister just had a baby last Monday.
Oh, nice.
wow.
So
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah. Like seeing like the newborn babies again. It just
It
like,
blows your mind how little they are.
They're so little and so
Little feet,
cute.
the little fingers.
They're
Oh
so
my gosh,
cute.
so precious.
My last one was 10 pounds 4 ounces, so I didn't even have a little one. He looked like he was 3 months old.
You're a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is really great. You know, when you mentioned the pediatrician, I remember this funny story. In my What to Expect book, you know, you interview your pediatrician. The one that I who I absolutely loved, and I was with him forever, didn't give interviews when I called, and I was like, okay, but they said that he's supposed to give interviews. I like, how mean. He's like, you know, too busy to give an interview.
Yep.
And it was really funny. My husband and I were in the supermarket and I was relaying the story to him and I mentioned the doctor's name. And some woman, we were back by the eggs and the milk, and someone was like, oh my gosh, that's my pediatrician. He's fantastic. And she went on this amazing, like, you know, testimonial about how wonderful he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I wound up going to him based on that, like a complete stranger.
Yes.
Never met this woman before. We just shopped at the
She was
same
convincing.
supermarket. I was told he was too busy to
Yeah.
give interviews. And I went with him and I loved him and I stayed with him forever. He was great. Really was. But
Testimonials are important.
Yeah.
That's
It
what I
is.
said. When you have a couple testimonials, throw those up on the ferry. Forget it.
right. And when
Yeah.
it's a real person standing in front of you telling you
Mhm.
how much they endorse this person, it's so much more believable, right?
Exactly.
And I trusted her. And I was like, worst case scenario, I find another one after the first visit, right?
Yeah.
But, the office was great. It was just wonderful. But now that you can have people coming together
Mhm.
and sharing all that information too is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And with like the OBGYNs, I just educating them on the program too, because if a mom hears their OBGYN say, you should go to this program,
yeah.
it's going to be really helpful.
backing it.
Then they're more likely to
And
join.
how are they reacting to it? Because I guess it depends on the age of that OBGYN. They
The-
embracing it. They know how desperately.
Yeah, the reaction has been amazing.
Good for you.
Like everyone I've talked to, they're like, I can't believe this doesn't exist already.
How do we not have it?
Yeah.
How do we survive?
Really though, it's like such like a needed program. And they're just so excited about it. They want to learn everything about it. I recently had a lunch at an OBGYN and like the staff was they were just so excited about it.
That's great.
So yeah,
I bet they see a lot, like the postpartum. I mean, I'm sure they see the.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, if you think about it, so you have the baby, right? And then you bring the baby to the doctor, at 1 week, 2 weeks, but for like the mom, you're not going back to the doctor until 6 or 8 weeks. So then you're just kind of on your own. You don't have anyone to ask questions to. You're turning, at least I was turning to like online forums. So this is just like a way for moms to have access to these experts on a weekly basis to ask their questions to.
And they come into like all put together and everything, right? And then they have the baby, and then 6 weeks later they come and they're like not even recognizable. You're like, okay, wait a minute.
Exactly.
We need to get back to you.
But you have the advantage of that you're all there for the same reason. Because if you met that mom in the park, you're not going to start talking about some of the stuff that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Is this normal? Is that normal? I mean.
Yeah, we set the standards right from the beginning. That nothing is TMI.
Yeah.
It is everyone can be an open book. There's no judgments.
Yeah.
So we really encourage the moms to share everything. And I think the moms are often surprised that something they're going through, someone else is going through the same exact thing.
Probably so positively surprised.
Exactly. It's like you think you're the only one feeling certain ways, and then you realize, oh, all these other moms are feeling the same way. It just like,
wait, you leak 14 times a day too?
Exactly.
Really? Or whatever it might be. But you do. You just think, why is this happening to me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this right? Or whatever it might be.
Just,
and then
it normalizes those feelings and things that are going on with your body. And I think just helps, getting that out in the open, just like, I think makes motherhood just a better experience.
And you offer lactation classes too, but obviously, that's your journey. It's not your journey, but.
So we have an on-site lactation consultant who's running her business out of New Mom School. So she's available for anyone to make an appointment with her, but she is also holding free weekly breastfeeding support groups. That's open to the community. You don't have to be a part of New Mom School to go. So we encourage like anyone who's on their breastfeeding journey or bottle feeding, if they have any questions.
That's another thing that was kind of stigmatized. That is just the most beautiful. That's what women were made for, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like one of the most beautiful gifts you can give your child, if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And to have the education on, even just to know where to go buy a bra or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for a lot of men listeners, but like, you don't know, and you can't just buy them on Amazon or online. It was like a big deal to figure all that out.
Yeah.
Because your body's changing so much.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. So to be able to have that, what a gift. What a gift you're giving the community.
I think nursing is like very challenging, and without having like the right support, I think moms just like may give up. So this is a nice place if you're having any sort of challenges, or even if you're not having challenges and just want to like be around other moms that are nursing and be able to ask your questions. It's a great opportunity for that.
So where are you located exactly?
So we are at 174 Patterson Ave in Shrewsbury.
By like Abilities in Action and Little Rockers there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
If you go right past Abilities in Action and Little Rockers, we're right down there.
And you have a private bathroom, right? Bathroom. You have a bathroom, private office, and a group room, right?
Yeah. So I have 2 offices in my space, and then like the bathroom is accessible to the other units in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I brought that up. That's really not important.
But I love this space because it's super welcoming and very easy for new moms. Like a lot of times this is going to be the first time a mom is taking baby by herself somewhere.
Yeah.
So I love that the
itself.
space, you can park right in front, and then you go in the door and the space is right there. You don't have to go in an elevator. You don't have to walk down a hallway. You walk right into the space. So it's very easy for new moms who might be nervous bringing their babies out for the first time.
This might be a little controversial, but I think the more you keep your child isolated and away from other people, the harder it probably is for them to build up an immunity. Listen, my kids are a lot older, so I might be wrong here, but I'm thinking once you bring them in, when do we get it? Like, I don't even know with the shots and all that other stuff, but like being around other people, obviously not sick babies or anything, but just other healthy people is probably very good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, if you think about it too, it's like everyone's babies are the same age. So everyone's protecting their babies kind of like the same.
Especially someone who's going to a class like this, they're going to be very attentive.
Exactly. So.
And what you're holding, I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? Like you're right there with your child, but you don't have to be afraid of being outside is what I'm trying to lean
it's
towards.
A very like safe space to bring the babies. All the moms sit in a circle. We have legless chairs that go on the ground, like around a rug, and we encourage the babies to either they could go lay on the ground, they could be in the car seat. Mom can wear the babies, and then like obviously as they get bigger, there might be some like crawling or like rolling around. So yeah, it's like a nice like intimate circle where all the moms can.
That's another really good thing to be in a group with too, because not every baby meets those milestones at the same age. It's not like you automatically turn, I don't remember, 4 months and now or when do you start crawling?
I think usually I think 6 months is like early-ish.
Okay,
yeah.
So whatever it might be, sitting up or something, you don't just wake up that day and you're 6 months old and now this is where you're supposed to be, right? Some people do it a little bit early, some children do it a little bit later. And it's probably nice to see that wide variety of milestones too. It probably removes so much insecurity. No one's saying, what's wrong with, little Johnny? He's not sitting up yet. There's nothing wrong with him.
Definitely.
He's totally fine, and he'll sit up when he's ready and his body is strong enough, right?
Yep. And we touch on the comparison topic and how that could lead to a lot of anxiety. But yeah, I think seeing a lot of other babies and the range, I think, is helpful for moms. And then we also have
it's the big picture.
Pediatric physical therapist visiting the class. So if a mom thinks, there might be some delays, like there's someone to ask those questions to.
Oh, that's great. That really is.
Yeah. And then it allows the moms to meet all these experts. So then if they do feel like they might need something extra, then they already know someone that they're familiar with and they'll feel more comfortable bringing the baby to the expert.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And it doesn't hurt.
No. Yeah.
All it does is alleviate unnecessary stress, because once you have a plan of action, you just feel so much stronger and in control there. And then sometimes it's just like, no, they're fine. Just give it time, give them space, give them, everybody develops so differently.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I think it's such a great idea. We wish you all the success in the world.
So much.
Thank you for having
Congratulations.
me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Brewed in Monmouth, the Real Estate Tea with Kate and, as always,
Doreen. Thank you so much for listening. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcast.
Twitter, YouTube.
Twitter.
Yep. Formerly known as X.
I know. No, we're saying it backwards. You can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Take care.